Hey everyone. Well, got my old buddy out here again. I need to make some cardboard pieces to ship my metal pieces on. I like to put them on cardboard. And so I have already cut down a Frito-Lay box. I know you're thinking, is that all them kids eat is chips? Well, they eat a lot of chips. And so I've scuffed it a little bit, because I have in my mind that it's going to take the paint better and everything if I did that. I didn't want to gesso it. I was just trying to hurry and get it going. And actually, I have shown this before, coloring packaging, but I don't think I did it with the jelly plate. I don't know that I've tried it with the jelly plate. So we're going to do that really quick. And I only have a few colors out here because I like to make mine have a rusty kind of feel. I don't know. I figure they're rusty items, so we'll stay, we'll make them look, the card that they're on look kind of rusty, or, at least vintage, or I don't know what I'm doing here, but look, this is going to be fun, right? And I'm just playing. I don't think I've done this before in any form, not on camera, I don't know. If I have, I don't remember it, which isn't saying much. I forget a lot of things. Let's see how this goes. Well, that looks pretty cool, but looks like I'm going to have to do more than one layer, huh? I was thinking it would... Well, of course, if I'd put more paint on it, that would help too, wouldn't it? It is pretty, but I am going to put more paint. Quit being so stingy with the paint. And then I'm thinking I want to maybe cover it with the rust first, and then just do some blue splotches maybe. I don't know why my jelly plate is doing that. I don't think I'm using the side I normally use. Not that that should matter, right? Okay, now we're talking. That's so cool. It's faster too. For me. May not be. Now I'm just going to pick the rest of it up with one of these other sheets. I think I'm going to just make all of them this background to begin with, and then go back over it and put the highlights in. That's probably the hard way of doing it. I don't know. That's how I'm going to try it. So I'm not getting a great layer. I may have to skip the jelly plate and just do it like I did before. And yes, I know if I would have put gesso on, this would probably be going a lot smoother. What would happen if I did that? I'm just putting a little bit because I'm not convinced this is going to work. No, not any better than the jelly plate, so I'm going to stick with the jelly plate. But I tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to wipe it off and flip it over. Not that that should matter, I guess. I don't know. In my head, it matters. I know one thing, I'm getting paint all over me. It's covering pretty good, so I'm going to keep going. And I know I'm not showing them each time I pull, but I will show them to you at the end. Okay, so here was my first one, and I'm gonna put some blues and things on it. Okay, so this is what we got. That is pretty. I like it. I know I can still see some of the underneath here, so I'm gonna let it dry just a smidge and then maybe put a little something else in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the other colors. Actually, yeah, I have this color too. It's yellow ochre. I was wanting to, not so much rust. I just thought the color would look good. This color palette would look good. Maybe I'll put some on this one where it was shining through. Yeah, see, I like that. You have to remember when you're cutting it in pieces, that's going to look cool. Oh, I forgot to put some blue on this one, didn't I? Let's put some blue on this one first, and then we'll go back with that yellow. I do like how that yellow turned out. Okay, it's looking better. I got some paint on the back too, and I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and, well, maybe I'll, isn't that cool? I love that. Okay, so let's put some more blue, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna fast forward you because I'm just gonna keep using basically the same colors to get that color pattern that I'm wanting, or, you know, palette, not pattern. Not really a pattern to what I'm wanting. Normally, I use book page to cover my packaging with to ship them on, but this time I wanted to do something a little bit different just to see what happens. Because I thought, if this works, what a great way to do like a mass make of it. You know, like all of these I could do at one time. Like say, I know that I have painted them with just paintbrushes before, but I thought maybe, I didn't know if this would be quicker or not. So we're going to see. Probably not. By the time I put several layers on it, it's probably not quicker. So a couple of thoughts I had while I'm messing and gumming here is, I know that when I put down this brown color that looks more rust to me, that I coat the whole plate. When I do the other colors, I don't know if I said, I'm just kind of patching it, just doing splotchy areas because that's how I want it to look on my cardboard. I don't want even coats. And then also at the, you know, after it's all said and done, I really feel like, you know, I said I didn't want to put gesso on it, and I still am glad I didn't do that, but I think like if my first coat had been just white paint, something to, you know, set in the background where I didn't have to do so much of this rust to begin with. I think that would have been faster too. I overall, I really do think this is a neat process. I'm gonna maybe put a little bit of it on this little one here. I do like that color with the others layered on top of the others. I think this looks great. I know it's showing up really orange, but it's not here. I mean, it's very subdued. It's showing up, I think, a lot brighter than it really is. Really neat. Maybe when it gets dry, I'll be able to show you better. That is so cool. All right. Ooh, isn't that pretty? That's a good piece. I am going to put a little bit more color in this big one, and then I'm going to let them set for a bit, and we'll see what we got, or if we need to add more things. Gosh, I love that. All right, I'm going to let those dry for a bit. And you know what I'm thinking is when they dry for a little bit, we might be able to just dab on some in the spots with like a sponge that maybe didn't take as well. But I think overall, for less than 20 minutes to get those 3 big sheets covered is probably faster for me as far as if I would have just painted them. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe the painting would have been better. Maybe I'll grab a piece of cardboard and we'll do the painting and see which is better. Okay, as you can see, here's another one. Exact same thing. I've scuffed it some, and I'm going to start with the deep brown here. And I've got just these kind of sponges. Just smushing it all, kind of tapping. So, I think this was probably the way to go. I'm going to set this one aside and let's work on the other ones. But I think you're right. I know what you're thinking. You should have just painted them to begin with. I was just trying to have some fun and see if what kind of look, if I could do it faster with the jelly plate, and I guess not. I think I'm going to get exactly the same kind of look doing it this way. So, no jelly plate, no worries. Really, this seems to be faster anyway. I kind of feel like I'm using more paint, though, than I did on the jelly plate. Because I feel like I've used more already in just these 3 pieces. And in fairness, they're not as big, these 2, as the other 3 that I did. Maybe all together it would be about the same. But I feel like I'm using more paint. But I definitely think it's faster. Okay. So let's move these off and we'll add in some other colors. Plus, I could do the colors. I could layer them all at the same time. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I can do that this way too. I think I'm probably using more paint because, you know, obviously my sponge is soaking up a lot of it. Where on a jelly plate, you know, all that's getting the paint is your project and your roll off or whatever. So, I mean, I guess I was stating the obvious with, you know, this takes more paint. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I was liking the look of the jelly plate more. Like, I was getting, I mean, I'm sure if I use a different brush and that kind of thing, I can get a bigger area, but I think, you know, for quicker, maybe it was quicker to do it with the jelly plate because I could get all these colors in that amount of time, where now I'm just keep going over. Which, I mean, I guess I did that with the jelly too, right? I just kept going over it. It just seemed faster. Let's put some of this Sprite in here. This doesn't, I mean, this, I'm just going for, on these, I think just pretty colors, pretty color palette. Doesn't really have to resemble rust at this point. But I am getting some pretty green mixing that yellow in with this blue. I'll go ahead and put some yellow in this one, and then I'll move all of them where I can get that bigger piece back. Okay, so this is the big one that I painted with the brush, not the jelly plate. I'm going to add some more colors into it. You know, as I'm watching this back and editing and whatnot, I'm realizing it's not any faster to do it with the brush. I thought it would be. It's not. It seems, if anything, the jelly plate was probably faster for me. And I like how the colors blend a little bit better. But if you don't have a jelly plate, this certainly works. Okay, well, that looks pretty cool. I don't know. It looks really neat. And it is, for the most part, pretty much covered. I won't have to go over this one again. But it is going to take it a minute to dry. These are the pieces that I done on the jelly plate. This one, I think I want to add a little bit of this yellow in it just to fill in some spots maybe. It is pretty. And you know, I don't really even mind that some of that background from the box itself, that pinkish, is kind of coming through and giving a really cool maroon color. I kind of like that. I'm not minding that at all. Here's our other one, and we got lots of good texture on this one from our jelly plate. I'll put a little color on this one. And you know, this is going to be cut into pieces, so it's not like the sections can't look different. You know, this is just a background. I'm going to add in some more of this. Maybe a little bit more blue. See what we get. Okay, so right now, I'm not going over this part because I don't want to cover up my texture, but right off the base, and I know this is hard to see, it looks like just dots right now, but I would, right off the base, how done was that? Right off the bat, I would say the jelly plate ones are more my favorite because it does let a little bit of that background come through, and I really like it. Here is the little one that we did on the jelly plate, and I don't really think I want to do much to it. I'm just tapping off my brush. But I mean, I like the texture it got. I like the coverage. I mean, yes, you can still see a little bit of the light, but I like that. I'm going to wait for these to totally dry, but I really feel like time-wise, probably the paintbrush. The look, I would probably say the Gelli plate. But I'm going to let them dry. I'll cut them down. I'll keep them separated, and then I'll show them to you. And you can decide, can you tell a difference, or is it just a matter of which way you like to play with your paints better? Or, maybe it matters you don't have a Gelli plate. Or maybe you don't like to paint. All right, we'll be back when these dry. Okay, here is our end result. My final conclusion is really, I don't think you can tell much difference. So, time's sake, I don't think it makes much difference. Paints, it definitely takes less paints with the Gelli print. Not a mass amount of difference. It's just, of course, the amount I'm sure that the paintbrush soaks up. So, good news is if you don't have a Gelli plate, you can still make these awesome backgrounds. And I love them. These are the ones that are from the Gelli plate. I love the texture that it gives. Probably hard to see on camera, but it has a lot of texture. It's just, I love it. I love it. Ooh, you might be able to tell it on this one. How much texture. But these are going to look great for my metal pieces. And I'll show you one after I sew it onto these. I think it looks really neat. Plus which, I had put some of it on the back, so we have that gorgeous color on the back as well. And it's a neat writing spot, I think. Even, no matter how you want to use it. These are the ones I painted. They are beautiful. They don't have a whole lot of texture, but they're still beautiful. You can give them texture by, of course, using some bubble wrap, or, like I use that oven pad that has the little holes in it. Even I like to use the kids' bathtub toys because they have texture on the back. Anything. Run some string across it. There's just so many ways to add texture to these things. But I'm going to sew one up real quick to show you how I just think they're going to be beautiful. Here's some of my offcuts, and I can't wait. I'm going to use these probably for tabs, and these I will use for something smaller like paper clips, or I don't know. They'll definitely be used. I love it. And I love that it really didn't take that long to make all of these. There's a lot here. There's about 24 pieces, I think. Something like that, plus all the small ones and the tabs. So I love that. Okay, so I have punched some holes, which as I was doing it, I thought, wow, wouldn't that be cool to weave in some of that tea-dyed baby cloth that I have buried on my desk. But you could weave in yarn or anything. That will look so cool. Just that background is so neat. But this is why I done it, so I could put my metal pieces on it. I love that. And also I was going to put some of these paper powerful, I don't know what these things are called. I can't remember ever on it. But like I said, when I punched the holes, I thought, man, that would be cool to make a mini notebook, or, a mini notepad, or just a writing card that you weave some kind of fibers in that. I mean, how cool is that? And you don't have to sell metal products to think that's pretty. I just think that looks really good. So I hope that this inspires you to get that packaging back out. I know that I've done this before, painting on packaging. But I think sometimes it's, I have to do it every so often. I don't have to. I like to do it every so often because I like to use it to repackage things, to reuse. And I think that there's a number of ways you can use this in your junk journals, like you know, and I love to use packaging. I do. I love to not throw it away. And I think this is a great way to do that. Not so much my metal pieces, like I'm saying, think how cool that will look as a mini notepad, or just to punch holes in it because it's thin, and run your fibers. I know I've said that 3 times now, but I just, it honestly hadn't crossed my mind till I punched these holes, and I thought, ooh, man, that would look really good. So I can see myself definitely painting some more boxes. And as you're putting on your rusty bits, maybe you just hang something from the corner, a little charm or a little rusty piece. And that rust makes these colors on the background look even better. Look at that. I mean, that looks so good to me. So do get out that packaging, have a play, have fun, create some mini writing or some journal cards or mini notepads, or just, and the colors, you don't have to do the rust thing. I mean, bright colors, any colors. Always remember, no matter who you're watching, you don't have to do the same style as they do. This is where I was using the book page. And I just think this is a nice way to switch it up a bit. So remember, whoever you're watching, grab the idea, not so much the product or the materials they're using. Grab those ideas and use them in your own style, your own way. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.